What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint a Venus, one of my personal favorite subjects. Keep it pretty basic. I don't really look at a reference when I do these. I just do them. So So Venus is the goddess of love, as I'm sure you all know. Depicted through the centuries, through many artists, in many different styles, different mediums. She's supposed to be the ideal beauty, the ideal sensual female creature. And I sort of just run with that idea, sort of just seeing what comes out on its own. Not too particular, not too precise, as they say. I really do not know what's going to happen. You just got to let it happen. And yeah, the painting might look ridiculous while it's in progress. But it becomes resolved as you paint it. All the little surprises along the way, not to sound like Bob Ross. Eventually going to put some red in there. I think it's going to be a red painting, even though it's blue at the moment. That could all change. Just need to fix that whole mouth. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. I haven't really actually painted in a little while. It's been no more than a few weeks probably. So the more you paint really is what it comes down to. Got to get in the flow, the natural flow of things. And just let it do what it wants to do. I mean, you got your basic idea down. I didn't always paint like this. think it's definitely important to have the basics down pat before you go crazy. But ultimately it makes no difference. You could go in any order you want, or no order at all. So I just sort of use the Venus as a starting point. Botticelli's Venus specifically. I didn't mention that. Botticelli's Venus is my favorite and one of the art world's favorites. It's a pretty iconic image. I think it's really hypnotic. Personally, I think is the right word for it. His hair is definitely too bulky. I don't know what I'm going to do about the background yet, but eventually do some cutting in here, make it tighter. Really want to just let the curls do their thing. And sort of blow in the wind. And at this point in time, this day and age, this place, there really is no right way and no wrong way to do anything. So you could really just explore it. Explore the subject, explore the material. Just treat it like an experiment, because it really is. You don't know what's going to happen. You're testing a theory. What that theory is exactly, I don't know. But I guess that's the point. To find it, often I'll paint something and come up with a meaning or a story afterwards. And I don't necessarily have anything in mind when I'm painting it, other than a rough idea of the subject matter. And yeah, some paintings I'll actually plan out. I haven't been doing those recently, more of a big narrative painting in oil, multiple sessions. Recently I've just been trying to paint quick. Quick painting is one session. Just get it done. So you could feel like you actually accomplished something. What happens a lot to me is I'll start a big painting and I just won't finish it because it takes too long, it's too arduous. So I guess that's the difference between a new master and an old master. Alright, what should we do about the background? I did say I wanted to do red, but I'm kind of second guessing that at this point. Maybe I should just leave it white. I'll go in with the black. Just do a black background on it. See what happens. Might actually make it glow more, because that's something that, speaking of old masters, people like Caravaggio and Rembrandt would use that sharp contrast to really make something pop and glow. So this is I'm just using cheap acrylic paints from Michaels. Doesn't really make a difference. I don't know what artist said it, I can't remember, one of the Renaissance guys, they said something to the effect of, you know, give me mud and I can paint you the Venus. There's more to it, but you get the idea. You know, it's funny. I'm painting a Venus right now, coincidentally. It's a really common subject. It's a really common thread throughout art, the art world and art history, and I mean, it really comes from religion, I suppose, pagan, Greek mythology, ancient times, Mother Earth, all of the characteristics of humans and life experiences were sort of personified in these gods, these spirits. So I guess Venus is the spirit of feminine beauty and sexuality, sensuality. I guess you could say the framing, the panning, the positioning of the subject in the painting is a little off. Maybe it doesn't quite look right. But let's see if we can fix it. Maybe we'll add something else in the background. I think I want to put some flowers in this also. Alright. So, face is a little bit dry. I'm working in acrylics, as I think I mentioned. And acrylics are good because they dry really fast. And depending on how you like to work, that could work to your advantage. So with this one, I'm not trying to be really precise about anything. It's not quite the purpose of it. It's an imaginative painting. You know, that's what I like. That's what I've been getting into recently. For the most part, you know, maybe you'll look at a little something for inspiration, something to go by, maybe a photo or another work of art or a model or what have you. A landscape. You don't really need that. It just comes from the mind's eye, the imagination. The designere interno, as they used to call it. You know, something from inside. The mind, the heart. And just the memory. You know? Like I said, this is loosely based on Botticelli's Venus. Something I've painted a lot of variations on it. It really has had an impact on my psyche. It's one of those images that just seeps into the unconscious, like the Mona Lisa, Michelangelo, anything by Michelangelo. You know, like Vasari said, you know, these are really things from heaven. This is not your. It has a supernatural element to it, for whatever reason. You know, through the eyes of history, and I suppose through the eyes of the church, the religion, because a lot of the imagery that comes up when we think of God and religion is imagery from the Renaissance and medieval times. Hair, you don't have to be too precise with it. You know, just let it go. Let go of the outcome. And just see what happens with it. Not sure if there's too much glare on the canvas. I don't know if it still looks all right. You know, just make that hair nice and curly. It's going all over the place. Gotta have some fun with it. I think the Renaissance guys were having a ton of fun with their paintings. They really were. Cataloging the universe. Not just the Renaissance, but the entire history of painting, really. It catalogs. They've cataloged life and human experiences. Especially, of course, the supernatural religious kinds, but also the everyday. If you think of somebody like Peter Bruegel, and all those feast paintings and paintings of the hunters and all the village people ice skating, all those little tiny details in the Bruegel paintings are great. And that's what's funny about it. They're not of a religious type. When we think about old paintings, we feel like we always think about mostly religious scenes, but there was that little niche of domestic scenes and still lives, things of that nature that people really enjoyed. And of course, I'm sure they had things like that in ancient times too. I know in ancient Greece and Rome, they made those great mosaics of still lives and fish. I guess that makes you feel good because it's a sign of the good times. You got food, you got fish, delicious, beautiful fish. I might even get some black in the hair here to give it a little more oomph. That oomph factor, when that painting really just pops out at you. I think that's definitely important, and you can definitely capture that pretty nicely with alla prima, the alla prima technique. Just painting it quick in one sitting. Fortunately, there's cat hair in the vicinity. And I guess that's it. What? I don't think I'm going to go much more crazy with it. Fix up the face a little bit. Simply got the bare necessities of painting here. A couple of brushes, a couple of colors. Just using 3 colors here: blue, white, and black. And it really is enough. It really is enough because excuse me. Too many colors can be overwhelming, and from a distance they actually become very muddy. I don't know if that makes a difference to you from a distance or not. From a distance, these paintings with a lot of intricate colors and things of that nature, it becomes very muddy. It can, not necessarily. Personally, just my personal aesthetic, I like to keep things simple sometimes, as far as colors. I don't overly mix colors. I don't, I'm not after these, some people really get crazy with color. I guess I don't too deeply. I tend to stay pretty primary. For the most part, really. Yeah. You really just gotta get through it. Just let your instincts guide you. It's like instinctual painting. I don't want to mess up the eyes. That's the thing. That's the thing. You could easily mess up the painting. Just one wrong move, but you can't let that stop you. Otherwise, you'll never do anything. And, you know, personally, I've been trying to get a little more cartoony with it. Not cartoony per se, but exaggerated, I suppose you could say. Just exaggerate things a little bit. Like the eyelashes, I've really been enjoying these just cartoony eyelashes. Why not? It just adds sort of an more interesting element to it, I guess. Some of you might be saying, just fucking ruined it. I would probably agree with that at this point. I'm actually gonna see if I could subdue that. It happens. So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick soon. Low battery, so on and so forth. But yeah, this is just a little, just for the hell of it, demonstration video. Just showing my frame of mind, sharing a little perspective, shedding a little light on the subject, a little behind the scenes action inside studio painting. And by studio, I mean my living room. Nothing wrong with that. I've had many different studios over the years, and they're all good, as long as you just stay focused on the task at hand. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much more I'm going to do with this one. Just, not to lessen the painting at all, but it's sort of just a warm-up. You know? Just gotta warm up the old brushes, warm up the old eye. Warm up the hand, really. It's really a hand exercise. You just want to get in that habit of painting. Once you're doing it every day, it's very easy to just keep rolling on to the next thing. Just keep it coming. You know, just exaggerate it a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hell, you know what? I think a pearl necklace is in order. I'm just gonna lay it on there, just to add a little intrigue to the painting. You know? Look at that. That's different. See, and then you start venturing into this new territory. You don't know where it's gonna ultimately lead. That's part of the adventure, I suppose. Sometimes I'll do a little finger rubbing. if I need to. Some nice round eyes. And yeah, you know, she looks a little sad, but I think that makes it all the more interesting as a painting, because it almost reminds me of those Madonnas, you know, the crying Madonnas from the crucifixions and whatnot. And those are some really compelling paintings. Very emotional, very theatrical. In my opinion, that's very gripping. It's very gripping, the human drama in painting. I know a lot of people just like, you know, calm landscapes, abstracts. But I definitely like some drama in the paintings. And you know, some paintings. It just gives it a different tone. Alright, well I think that's all I'm going to do. Thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting. If you've made it this far into the video, this is my first video, so it's nothing fancy. Yeah, you definitely got to know when to stop. Alright, I'm done. This painting's done. Alright, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoy this painting. And have a great weekend. Thank you.